started. Yeah. Right. So, welcome everyone to Bisterne Estate. I'm not going to say too much because Rupert's very good at talking to groups. And this is Rupert Brewer, the keeper that we were talking about this morning. And it's going to be completely over to him for the whole afternoon. No, but yeah, thank you for having us, first and foremost. So these guys have all come on a part-time keepers course for the day. Some spent the morning with us, a little bit death by power for you, did get outside a bit, looking at snares and traps and so on. They're all half-spided so far, so it's not been too bad. But yeah, thank you for having us, thank you for getting us out today, and yeah, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and the estate.
Right, as you know, I'm Rupert. I'm what they call game and wildlife manager here now. This is Lily, my brand new assistant. She was a student last year for me who takes some more college in Dorchester. And it's actually a good account for herself. We've actually given her a full-time job. So this is her second day. Yeah, second day.
Oh, well done.
All of that. Yeah, Bisterne Estate. It's a lowland estate. It's got a mix of arable and a 600 cow dairy. We've got a traditional shoot here, which is mainly syndicate, but also we sell a few days just to make the sums add up. It's a multi-habitated estate, so we've got west, we start with Dorset heathland, which is dry heathland. We've got 500 acres of wet meadows with River Avon. We get 3 miles in River Avon, both banks with that. We've got 900 acres of woodland, which also comes into my remit as well, so that's a mixture of broadleaf and commercial forestry. Just about to start some thinning at the end of this month. And we've got about 700 acres of arable, mixed crops, and the rest is grass for the dairy. And then we finish up on the east with New Forest, Heathland, Mire system. Get a lot of different species with those different habitats, so we're quite lucky. The shoot itself is a sort of medium-sized shoot, so we put down 4,500 pheasants, and then we have about 1,800 red-leg partridges as well. Where it gives us about 15 days shooting, plus we do some small family days, and we do maybe some field trials as well.
And what acres do you shoot over?
Every single way. Every single way. We spread it. We don't concentrate the shoot. We like to mix and match it up a bit. Syndicate have been here since God was in short trousers, so they know every drive. So if I can make a new one or make things different, then that makes their day. We also shoot river. We've got wild duck on the river, so we'll talk a little bit about what we do there.
So your acres is
4,000. Yeah.
So 4,000 acres and 5,000.
So it's river valley, so it's pretty flat. So you've got to be a bit creative in what we do. And on the whole, yeah, fun. But I thoroughly enjoy my job.
Great. Okay. There we go. Should we go now?
Yeah, I'll just get put the Joe now. I'll follow us.
Okay.
You're coming on a gun bus?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Seems wrong getting on a gun bus this time of year.
No, I'm gonna. I'll be on here, but I'll find it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Going to just the loose beds, that might be almost across.
So, do you describe yourself as a researcher or a scientist?
No, I don't. Mike and I are advisors. That's what we're classed as, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Although you have got your
Stick him in the trap, we'll have it.
Yeah, but that's PhD in bumblebees and pollination,
Yeah.
which is entirely irrelevant to what I do these days.
So every field has got a hedge management system going on, pollen and nectar or grass margin, just to make the fields a bit more attractive. The fields aren't particularly big here. We've broken them up a lot, so there is actually a beetle bank here which needs redoing really. So 20-acre field is a big field around here now, but it just gives us lots of some margins and some options. Another strip just got through there as well, alongside that beetle bank. We'll see behind you, front and back, we've got fodder beet. We grow a lot of fodder beet for the dairy here, which is really helpful. If I've got my gamekeeper's hat on, so we've got 2 new drives here like these. Make a pastoral stripe here at the back. I could do a bit walked up with the family if they want to pick it up in like 2 hours. Or I could run a field trial. I've done that before. You can turn it up, do a field trial. But if you get a nice hair pop up, that chops out half the field in about 2 minutes. Genuinely happy. Yeah, lady come all the way from Leicestershire, and she walked back from me at the front of my truck. Hair got up, gunshot it. Dog refused to pick it up.
I'm sure she had a use for that.
Leave the dog with it.
Just out of interest, that is a bit of ryegrass coming up here. Never let your boss buy straw in. That's chemical resistant ryegrass. There's a real. You thought he was doing the right thing, going to buy a lot of straw, but he didn't take a problem. We've got a bit of an issue there. But, yeah, so it's all rotated in different crops. So we grow spring barley, winter barley, peas, wheat, barley, forage crops like fodder beet and grass silage here, and then a bit of maize as well. So it makes a nice patchwork. Pretty good arable manager. We try not to plant too much of the same next to each other. We have got fodder beet here and there, but we try and break it up. It's not easy for him, but it helps the biodiversity on the estate because we've not got the same crop and the same thing happening side by side. So I'm quite lucky that we work together like that, and a bit of understanding goes a long way.
So one thing we didn't really cover this morning in terms of partridges, and we said we would cover kind of pheasant release and drives and things like that this afternoon. So we did kind of show a very quick picture of partridge release, and I'm hoping that most people are familiar with red-leg partridge release, and it's a smaller system. It's normally on crops, but they give you that ability in much the same way as grouse that you can bounce them back. So you were saying here that you've got 2 drives just created with these 2 fields. You push these in, line the guns in the middle, and then you'll be able to push them back straight away. Whereas you can't do that with pheasants, and we do come across youths that do try to do that, and that's often why they're struggling. Pheasants take a good couple of hours to recover because they're like sprinters of the bird world. So they have about an 8-second burst of energy getting up at that kind of 35-degree angle, and then they'll set their wings and they'll glide. And if you then go, right, well, we'll chase them around to where they've kind of landed and we'll try and drive that through next, they really struggle. So that's one thing you can do with red-leg partridges, but you can't do with pheasants.
We get this on the drone, Ollie. Got the deer. Come on, that's my shot. And the hare, deer and hare.
Game patch here, good to look at. Obviously fairly new to drill. This is a wild bird mix, AB9. Just about to see the drills coming up now. So that will be the stewardship. It's been direct drilled. So just makes a nice bit thicker cover, better for flushing birds out of, trying to make them nice and steady. A little bit of maize here, being nibbled a bit by that red deer you just seen just a minute ago. It's a bit weedy as well, but it's been sprayed out, so it should come through right. And it'll just give a little bit of height, just to hide partridge pens and that from prying eyes. We get a lot of problems with that. Just gives it a bit of cover. We're very flat here as well, and if you've got a nice sort of 5-foot screen of maize, you know, if the guys are baling that rye, because that'll be a fairly late crop to combine, it doesn't really impact any pheasants or partridges, really. It just creates a bit of a screen. So that works well. That's kind of what we do quite a lot of. We'll put a bit of maize next to an AB9. Occasionally we're trying to swap them over just so we can have a bit of agronomy on the weeds and problems, because obviously these are mixed seeds. So you've got kales, you've got linseeds and millets and things like that, and you can't really do anything for it once it's set in the ground, really.
We planted this for the first time last year.
Yeah,
Transformation.
it's really good. It's satisfying, and you see the good it does for the birds in January, February. The goldfinches and the greenfinches.
Just plough it into the ground.
No, we're zero till here now. We do plough a little bit for things like maize and maybe fodder beet, but generally try to no till, just straight in with the drill, because it's very sandy soil. This is going to dry up really hard soon. If you haven't got the crops established now, you're doomed here. There's no comeback once it gets hot here.
So that alternating the crops is something that we recommend within the trust, and mostly from the agronomy perspective of being able to clean the soil afterwards. So we'll often say about having a brassica base mix, which this one is, which will last 2 years, and then next to that have a cereal based mix that will last the year, the annual crop, so that when this one that they're going at the same time, this one that's your brassica mix will go into its second year, and then this annual crop here, the cereal based mix, when it gets to year 2, you put a first year brassica into that one, so you've got brassica 1 year and brassica 2 year, and then when this one finishes after its second year, you go back to cereal, which allows you to clean all that up, and then your brassica will be in its second year then, and then you just keep on going. And then the only thing that then we would normally add to that is trying to get like a perennial strip on the very outside. You can do that sometimes there's no need to, but often you've got kind of hedges on some sides of your crop, and then on the side where you won't have a hedge, normally we'd recommend putting a perennial strip in, a couple of meters wide, but then that's going to be there for a while then, and that gives that warmth to that crop. It acts as a bit of a windbreak where you haven't got a hedge. So that's one thing we'd recommend there. And by doing that thing where you've instead of just got one big crop and you've split it up, then in years where we've got droughts or particularly hard to establish crops, you've always got at least half of it, and then with your perennial strip as well, so you've always got something in the ground. So it's a bit like insurance then as well.
Release pen, you're probably all familiar with. Fairly old one, but it's still going well. We talked about 23% losses before you shoot. Top net is something we've done in the last few years. We are on the edge of the New Forest. There's 55 pairs of fossils within the New Forest. That became a big problem for us in terms of losses. And we tried everything from shiny CDs to radios. It looked like a jumble sale in there. None of it works, right?
Really?
Don't be kidded that it does. None of it works, right?
Have you ever used the do you know the plastic netting that you're going to build inside?
Yeah.
Have you ever used anything like that?
Yeah.
Didn't work.
No. You've got to just secure it.
Yeah.
I put mannequins in there, and you've got a dead colt right at their feet. An hour before you got there. Angry chickens, turkeys, we've tried the lot.
Yeah.
None of it makes any difference, right? Top net, 50 by 25 for this pen. It takes a little bit of effort, but Lily and one other and I did that this morning, so that's not that big amount of time. About 500 quid for the net. That'll pay for itself in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years time. Again, you're back to the health of the poults. We've got a lot of, there's buzzards, there's goshawks, there's even your tawny owl's can be a real pain. It can knock a hole. If you put 300 in here or something like that, a single tawny owl can take 20 or 30 of those. And soon racks up. So put the top net on, dead easy. There is a few trees. This is actually an easy pen. We've got other pens have got much more trees in. Takes a little bit of time, but actually the payback is vast in terms of my time, stress, returns of what you're going to shoot, a morning's work, and just quality of poults, but also because we are Bisterne and we are in the public eye a little bit, we are actually doing something that's going to deter predation by protected species that's legal.
Yeah.
So there's no suspicion, and there's no hang on, they've got a brilliant shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got a goshawk nest just through there, so it works.
And the other thing, so I was mentioning there, so not plastic netting that's thin stuff like this, because you get stuff caught up in it. But you know, it's got holes in it that are about this big, plastic netting that you get around building sites. It's normally bright orange, so it's an absolute eyesore, like you were saying with everything else.
It's just like an eyesore.
So sometimes when you've got a ride like this, you can stop flight lines, but it doesn't always work, and it works for a time and then stops working. So it could be an issue with that. The rhododendron in here is what we would normally say we don't want, but also we've got it here, it's working. What we would rather not do is have to move this pen elsewhere, because there used to be a time where it'd be like, oh, we've got a problem with the pen, we'll move it, we'll create a new pen elsewhere. It takes a very, very, very long time for that pen to recover from being a pen, that area, to return to kind of normal woodland. So you're better if you need to kind of have a bigger pen, or you're better extending what you've got than having a new pen elsewhere. And this, even though they've not got loads of trees and the ability to net it, it's off the ground, it's low roosting cover. The birds still get used to that concept of roosting. How long do you keep them in there for?
They're coming at 8 weeks old. We try and keep them in there to 12 to 13 weeks old.
Okay, yeah.
That middle partition is like a false wall. That just lifts out. We take the net off straight away that day.
Yeah.
And they're good to go.
So they all come in here, guys.
They're all going there. Yeah, they're full wings. There's no wing clippings. There's no mutilation, as they call it.
And then they can go into
Then
that.
they go in there, but you'll find at 12 to 13 weeks the Japanese crosses.
All right.
The new pens, or the ones I'm repairing, I should say. I'm not going to bother
And
with
how
that
many
bit.
to put in here?
Yeah.
We'll do that through. We're
So how many in there?
about 300 in there.
Okay.
So we're
How big is this?
well, that's 25 by 50 net. So we are beginning, because of the way that the landscape is changing in terms of predators, to release pheasants much more like red-legged partridges. We'll let them go, and they'll be absolutely fine. They're fully winged. They've got half a chance. They've been here for several weeks. This is already home. It's been actually really quiet home, because nothing can get in there, nothing can get out as well. So it saves me a bit of effort. And it goes back to health. You know, they're getting chivvied by 20 hours at night and then a buzzard during the day. It causes stress, and that's when you get worms and pick up problems, because they're not feeding properly. They're not drinking at the right time. You know, it's all about just nurturing them, getting them feed when they're hungry, drink when they're thirsty, not when they can.
It's great to be able to have you at what we call HQ at Burgate Manor down here. It's
Kremlin.
at the Kremlin.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
But your kind of interest in the course also helps support the trust, which we're very grateful for. So thank you all for coming on that. We hope that you have had a good day. We're aware that we have chucked a load of information at you, so I hope a lot of it stuck. But if there's anything that kind of you wanted to cover, again, Mike's already mentioned it, but yeah, please do get in touch with us. The last thing that we want is for you guys to go away thinking, oh, I wish I'd asked that, or what was that they said about this. So please feel free to get in touch with us and ask away. And then, yeah, hopefully we bump into you guys again in the future, whether it's down here, whether it's at the game fair in the summer, more courses in the future. Please do keep in touch with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys. It's been brilliant.
And you're free to go. Thanks. Yeah.